Good evening, or afternoon, or morning, or night, whatever time of day it is. Welcome back to the Suit Up Geek Fix channel. My name is Lo from sunny California. I am just 1/4 of the Suit Up Geeks, but I am joined by some very awesome special guests tonight. And tonight, we are talking Stranger Things versus Cobra Kai, two of our most beloved Netflix shows, and I'm so excited to break it down with such awesome guests. To my left, I think that's my left, we have my good friend Gabe from FilmOpinionitis and Cinespection. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Great to be here to talk about two of my favorite shows. I don't know how I'm even gonna choose between them, so I'll just try to keep it, no crapping on either of the shows. Just saying positive things because I love them both. So I'm excited.
Definitely. And I think, we've done a lot of these, and I think the best way to go about it is just take it one category at a time. Don't have a preconceived notion of what you're going to score. Just go with the flow, and you'd be surprised what you end up with. You know what I mean? So, and down below, we have another one of my dear friends, Mr. Leo from representing Geekly Goods. How you doing, my friend? It's been a while. I haven't seen you around.
Hey, it's been good, man. It's glad to, dude, I'm just glad to talk some Cobra Kai, some Stranger Things. Look, these are Netflix's two tentpole shows right now. I mean, look, if we're talking the whole catalog of Netflix shows, you've got these two and Ozark. Those are the big three for Netflix. And I am so excited to dive into it with you guys. Thanks for having me on the channel, Lo. Good to see you again, Gabe. And I can't wait to talk about it. I'm like, Gabe, man, it's all positivity here because I love both of these shows. They got their ups and downs, but I love both of them. Oddly enough, I'm jumping ahead a little. Season 2 is my worst for both shows. A little weird, but
no, that's fair. That's fair, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit. So, how's this going to go? We're going to break it down to categories. We're doing story, visuals, memorable moments, rewatchability, and overall scores. We're going to take it one series at a time. And seeing as Stranger Things is coming soon, I wanted to go back a little further and touch back on Cobra Kai. So we're going to start off with that first. Just getting the vibes here from the t-shirts going on. It looks like you guys are very Cobra Kai centric. So I'm gonna throw it to Gabe, man. How would you grade Cobra Kai's story? And just kind of just elaborate a little bit on what the story means to you.
Oh, I mean, this is a great one because I think Cobra Kai, it's such a great show because they found a great story when I saw that the show was announced, I didn't feel like there was much there. I was like, okay, well, Karate Kid started at a beginning, middle, of end. They had, some sequels. They went a bit too far as usual with sequels, with one that didn't even star the same guy. And then they made a remake. So you're just like, where are they going with this, right? So they got a good idea. Okay, this is the focus now. Let's talk about the other guy who you barely heard about. And that's kind of where it goes. But it also respects the original. Talking about the guy from the original. So story, it's really great. I think the two things that make the show survive is the story and the fact that it respects the story that came before it. So I think some of these I guess the term is requel now, thanks to Scream 5, right? Some of these requels kind of parody the originals, I don't know if you saw the Saved by the Bell reboot, and so they're are making fun of the original. I don't think Cobra Kai does that. They bring their own story, and I think it's really good. So what grade would I get? Is it out of 10?
Yeah, out of 10.
Oh God. I'm not gonna give everything a 10 because that's just boring, right? So I'm gonna do what you guys do, and I'm gonna give it a 9.75.
God damn it. No, I know it times feels. Those decimals are gonna kill me later. But yeah, no, seriously, when you love something, it's so hard not to give it 10s across the board. So that's another challenge to this. Really quick, I want to say what's up to everyone in the comments. Mr. Crockpot says a roundhouse to the groin to anyone who picks Cobra Kai. Dives is getting ready to go on a trip to Florida, so unfortunately he couldn't be here with us. But how you doing, brother?
Man, Mr. Crockpot, you choosing, you going with Stranger Things already? Come on, man. Conversation.
We got Mike Thomas in the house, novice cinephile. He says quiet. Doing a little bit of Johnny Sensei Johnny. Matt Wyatt's in the house. What's up, Matt? He says, what's up? Love both of these shows. He loves Cobra Kai more. Cobra Kai never dies. Okay. All right. Leo, so how would you grade Cobra Kai's story? And what would you give the overall score for it?
So Cobra Kai's story is so intricate, and they really found a formula that brings in the old media while also crossing a new story and making it and bridging these two extremes together incredibly well. I think Cobra Kai was kind of the first revival that I was like, wow, this very well might be better than the movie. There are very few that come to mind before that are series that are dug up from old movies or old shows, like the Saved by the Bell reboot. Not a fan. I still haven't watched the Fresh Prince retelling because I know that's technically like a bit of it's the same story with a bit of a more drama edge. But I think that they really found the formula here. It's enjoyable. I love the characters. Some of the acting's not amazing, but I think the story really works, and it's worked in a way that none of the seasons feel like they're going to run out of material. Now, I kind of feel like we're edging towards like the final few seasons, and I think if we wrap it up with 5, I think that would be a wise decision so we don't start crossing into being too much. But I think that it just really blends those two things very well together, and the heart of the show is Miguel and Johnny, and they have just been the heartbeat of this from the get-go. And I've loved both of those characters, love seeing the development both of them got. I will say the last season didn't have as much as Miguel as I wanted, but it looks like next season is going to primarily focus on Miguel. So I really love this show, and I really love what it has to say about the characters and just about the extremes of martial arts and karate. I love it, man. If I had to give it a grade, though, overall, out of 10, right? We're doing out of 10. Okay, I'm going a 9.12. Yep, I'm gonna make it hard on you.
I love the decimals. I just love them so much.
Yeah, right. It's like it's not like you're just gonna go with a 9. Like you gotta go with like a point.
No, it's funny.
Or something.
I do that to fuck with Dives, and now I totally get why he hates it.
Look at Luke now.
Karma. What's up, Luke? He says, "What's up, everyone?" Luke's in the house.
Good to see you, Luke.
You guys said it really well. It's one of those things where initially when I heard about this show, I think it was on YouTube Red, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
If you can
so
believe
I heard
it.
about it, and I'm like, okay, this isn't even on like a big streaming service. Why is this show happening? These guys are like pushing 50 years old. Who cares? And then I saw that free episode on YouTube Red, and I was like, man, this is kind of good. Like they really got fleshed out Johnny's backstory and like how he was just kind of down in the dumps, and that moment ruined his life. And he meets Miguel, and they develop that bond, the father-son mentor, same kind of bond that Miyagi and Daniel-san had. And I love the flip of that kind of like role, having Johnny be in that role in his own way, of course, because he's pounding Coors Light, or was it Miller Lights? He's pounding more Miller Lights.
Of course.
Eating 7-Eleven looking pizza, whatever the hell it was.
Let's just say Coors beer is really bad, right? We can agree on that. It's a bad beer, right?
Yeah.
It's glorified water. Like
Yeah,
it's the kind of beer you drink at a college party and you have like 10 of them and you feel like shit the next morning, but it's not really a good beer.
Real quick, you brought up a really good point, Lo. This really takes this perspective of the villain of the first movie and really runs with it and makes you sympathize with that character. I can't really name too many other mediums that do that.
No, definitely. I think it's really refreshing. And I think that the role reversal, not just Johnny, but with Daniel too, because, he comes off kind of as a douche in the first one. He's like, look at me. I got my car dealership. I got my suit. Hiya! Look at my commercials. And it almost felt like he sold out. It was like, damn, bro. Like, Miyagi must be like shaking his head in the sky, looking down at you like, free bonsai tree with a car. Like, it's like, what are you doing? And I like the role reversal. And I love, like you guys have said, you guys like illustrated how there's so many characters in this show, but they all kind of each have their own individual moments.
Yes.
Daniel's son has his daughter and his son who's starting to play into the role here. So yeah, overall, I think the story is really strong. I think it's probably one of my favorite things about it. Like you said, Leo, the acting is not always there, and I think there's a fine line of cheesiness and nostalgia that you got to balance. And surprisingly, this show does really well. Like it could easily be a mess, a corny mess, like something I don't even want to watch. Like I'm not sure if you guys saw Fuller House or whatever it was.
Bro, I
heard mixed reviews. So.
I did see it. I didn't finish
How
it.
was
I
it?
did see it. I mean, it was.
I heard it was like really corny.
it had some of the Hollywood's worst writers. Like,
That makes sense.
terrible comedy writers. But all these people, like, honestly, respect to all these people, like 30 years later, they were still like breaking, like doing really good stuff with what they were giving, which was nothing. So that's the best thing I can say about it. Do you agree, Leo? I don't know if you watched it.
I gave up after the first episode, man.
Oh, really?
I gave up.
But jumping back, I'm stalling because I don't know what the hell I'm going to give this grade. I think the story is fantastic. I think the story is probably what really keeps me going. I actually have to disagree with you a little bit, Leo. I feel like they're going to start recycling material. I feel like how many times can they have like the bully turn ally turn bully, and jump sides, and what's his name? Johnny's son. What's his name again? I haven't
Robbie.
well. Yeah, Robbie. I mean, it's like I don't know what he's gonna do. Is he gonna join Daniel's son again? Like, and he's been going back and forth.
It can't go on for too long. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I feel like they're stretching. There's a point where they might start stretching. I hope they don't get there.
So you do agree with me though?
Oh well, I disagree because you said that. Wait, hold on. You said that it feels like the material like can just keep going.
No, I said I feel like we're getting toward the end. Like we're kind of on the edge.
So I do agree with you. Sorry, I misinterpreted that. I do agree with you. I'm still stalling. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna give it. You know what? I'm gonna give it a flat 9 because I need to make my score a little bit easier.
9.01, man. Come on, it's right there. It's right on the table.
Yeah, you gotta give some decimals here. That's the name of the game.
Oh my god! You know what? When we get to Stranger Things, I'm gonna start having fun with that. But right now,
don't want to roll.
I gotta get warmed up a little bit. I gotta get warmed up a little bit. So jumping into visuals, I'm gonna be honest. There's some CG and some stunt double work where you're like, it takes me out of it a little bit. But I think the fight choreography in I think it was season 3, or wait, no, sorry. What was the most recent season? Season 4?
Yeah.
Definitely had the best fight choreography in my opinion. I loved seeing Hawk's redemption, the battle between Tori and good God, what's her name?
Sam.
Jesus, God, I haven't watched this in a while. Yeah, their battle was intense. No, I really liked season 4. I liked it a lot. I loved the introduction of Kenny. But yeah, visually though, I think it definitely looks like sitcom-y. It definitely looks like a standard show. There's nothing visually striking about it. But when you're talking about Karate Kid, that's not what that movie was known for anyway. So I can't fault it. But at that same token, I'll give visuals maybe I'll give it a 6.5.
Oh wow! So just out of curiosity, for you, what would be a failing grade? Like if you're thinking out of 10?
Well, some of the CG they've done is bad enough, and I don't know. I didn't like the big jump that Sam did, like rooftop to rooftop. I felt like that just didn't look good in my opinion. I feel like there's a lot more of those than scenes where I'm like, wow, that was amazing. You know what I mean? So I think if I was going to give a failing grade, it'd probably be more like a 4 or 3.
Okay.
But, at least it's above a 5. I don't hate the visuals of Cobra Kai. I just think that, they look pretty standard, pretty basic, in my opinion. What about you, Leo?
So are we going like visuals, like visual effects? Or are we going fight choreography?
Well, just overall look of the show.
Okay, so
like how do you think the show
and
look?
Everything.
Yeah, like the way it's shot, the costume design, the choreography, just how the show looks.
So yeah, choreography wise, I gotta agree with you. Like every season has stair-stepped the choreography. It's gotten better and better per season. You can definitely tell Netflix has stepped in that season 5 trailer. But I visually, there's nothing particularly incredibly interesting. And I'm not really watching Cobra Kai for its visual taste, I guess. I mean, the story is what drives Cobra Kai. So I know it kind of has this sitcom-y look and this, kind of the visual effects that are added are pretty cheesy. So I gotta be with you. I'm leaning towards like a 6.52 because there's just not a lot to really go off of. This isn't really like a visual show. So I think for me, it's
6.52.
Yeah. So I think it's just kind of like,
decimals.
We're mixing it up with the decimal points here, right, Gabe? We rolling the dice.
Every grade is gonna have decimals. That's
every grade. But I will say, Cobra Kai, what they've done very well, and starting with season 3, is like the tracking during the fight. They do a really good job of keeping the camera on these hits, on these blows. So I really do feel like when they get into the big grand fights between the students, it feels grand. While maybe not every hit looks legit, it feels grand and you feel like you're watching like a serious showdown. So kudos to Cobra Kai for that.
And I gotta say, I'm not fond of the big house party fight, but there is that one shot where it tracks and goes from fight to fight in like almost like a one take. That was pretty cool. I gotta admit. What about you, Gabe? What would you grade the visual, like the overall look of Cobra Kai?
I mean, it's kind of hard to do like a thorough evaluation in my mind, because the show, like, it's a sequel to the Karate Kid films, but it never tries to be the Karate Kid again. Like, visually, it's like completely different. Like, the Karate Kid films have this sort of like mystical atmosphere to them. It's a lot of like Miyagi's kind of like a mystical figure, like a mysterious kind of thing. And then they go to Okinawa, and then that's the mystical thing. Like, what is this place? You know, it's a bit of that. And I think the show, they made the right decision with just being like, this is not what that is. You know, that was that. They didn't do like a J.J. Abrams Force Awakens thing, which again worked there. It's fine, but like they didn't do like a modern Star Wars thing where they're just trying to do what came before. Because I think they understood that a bit of the charm of what came before is that like it was that spirit, like 80s sort of like low budget kind of vibe. And then you watch like The Mandalorian is trying to do like A New Hope, or it's trying to do Empire Strikes Back, which were like indie movies from the 70s, you know what I mean? But now it's like big budget thing. So it's kind of like, I know what you're trying to do, but back then it was like unintentionally cheap, you know what I mean? Like, so Cobra Kai was just like, that's not what we're doing. It's almost like you're watching something like Gilmore Girls and something like, not like a comedy, like, you know, nothing particularly like fancy with a camera or anything, right? So within that, I think they do something really good with it, because like the fight scenes, you guys said it, like they don't use a lot of cuts, you know, it's like not super choppy like a Liam Neeson movie or something, you know. Like I remember I sent you guys like a behind the scenes shot of Ralph Macchio doing the fight against the hockey players in season 4, and it was like all on camera, like you were like and Ralph Macchio was like 60 years old, you know. So it's like, you know, they do that a lot, but you know, if it's like, I like Leo said it, like we don't watch Cobra Kai for the visuals. You watch it for the characters, you watch it for the story, you watch it for the humor, because it has a lot of really great humor. So within that, like if we're comparing it to Stranger Things, like of course I would give it like probably a 7.95.
That's really generous.
He's on saving grace for that, because me and Lo giving it under 7 here.
Yeah, goodness gracious. Christian's in the house. I want to say what's up to Christian. He says Stranger Things till I die, baby. Thank you, Christian. I'm not saying I'm team Stranger Things. I'm just
you got a couple comments down. I agree with that, what Christian had to say there.
Clone Wars
okay. Yeah, that was our previous versus. That's on Monday. It's on this channel if you guys want to check it out. We did Clone Wars versus Rebels, and he thinks Team Clone Wars. Me too, man. And you know what? That day, Rebels won out, and I felt outnumbered. But you know, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So, yeah. So I mean, you know, you guys, we all pretty much were kind of hitting the hammer on the head, the nail with the hammer, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, we're all on the same page there. Going into memorable moments. Leo, let me throw it back down to you, man. Doesn't have to be like your ultimate moment. It could be a handful of moments, but I mean, Cobra Kai's got a lot of them. What were some of your favorites?
I mean, do you want me to go season by season? Because I mean, this when you were talking about the categories, I was like, this is where Cobra Kai really shines. I mean,
right? No,
every
I agree.
battle. I mean, Johnny and Daniel versus Kreese, Terry Silver coming in. I mean, this is where Cobra Kai shines truly in the categories. This and story are like heavy with Cobra Kai because there are so many moments. I think one of my favorite moments where I was just like, oh my effing God, was when Kreese stepped out of the shadow at the end of the first season. I was like, oh my God, they're bringing Kreese back, holy smokes, and just reintroducing these characters in the way that they do it. The way that they have these epic fight scenes that always have some sort of big consequence with Miguel at the end of the second season. And not to mention, leaving us at that cliffhanger with Miguel getting thrown over that balcony or kicked over the balcony at the end of season 2. And what? It was like 2-3 years later, we got another scene. Like, I'm like, that was our cliffhanger. Holy smokes. That might be one of the best cliffhangers Netflix has ever had. Honestly, there are so many, man. They roll off the tongue like crazy. I mean, Johnny taking the students and having them do moves in the cement. Like, I mean, honestly, they have so many memorable moments.
If you could do a top 3.
Oh, that's so hard, man. There's so many. I guess, okay, top 3 in no order. Johnny and Daniel versus Kreese.
Okay.
Johnny and Daniel teaming up in the tournament in this season, in the 4th season. And then probably that first season when Kreese comes back, man, with the cigar and Step Into the Shadow. I'm like, this is epic, dude. On those 3. I if I had to narrow it down, but honestly, man, I'm hard pressed. There's so many memorable moments, and
I'm really curious to hear your score here. So, how would you give the overall score?
Man, for Cobra Kai memorable moments, I'm going like 9.95, bro. Like, honestly,
just give it a 10.
No, it can't get a 10.
Decimals.
Oh my Lord in heaven! All
we
right,
gotta make it hard.
Mr. Decimals, Gabe, go ahead, man. Hit me with like your give or take top 3 moments and give me your score.
I mean, look, this show is all about the moments. It's a sports show, basically, right? Like so it's kind of unfair to compare with anything else that's not a sports show, because it's all about like the payoff when something big happens, right? Like it's the way the show is structured. It's like hell yeah moments against the next hell yeah moment. So if I was gonna do my top 3, which I was thinking about while Leo was speaking, so in no particular order, but like a moment I really loved in season 1 was that part, like when they're having lunch, like Miguel is with Dimitri and Hawk, before he was known as Hawk, Eli, and then he starts being bullied by Kyler when Kyler doesn't know that Miguel has been training, and then he just like completely kicks his ass, and at the end he grabs a tray, like a food tray, and just hits him right in the face. And then Kyler like spins and falls. And then there's this like awesome shot where Miguel just looks at Samantha, like kind of like, did you see what I just did? And then Samantha just laughs. Like that's like every nerd's like dream. Like, you were the guy that was bullied in school. But all of a sudden you're like the cool guy because you just did something awesome. And that was like, I saw that moment in the trailer and I was like, okay, this is a show that I would like. And so that's one. Another one that I really enjoyed was like in season 4, right before the end, like spoilers for season 4, but like the moment where you realize that Cobra Kai is like, they've turned Cobra Kai in like a Game of Thrones thing, where like everybody's fighting for the Cobra Kai throne, and it's like Terry Silver's like, you know what, like not only am I taking John Kreese out of Cobra Kai, but I'm sending him to prison for something that he didn't do. And he's like basically a homeless guy, like it was like, okay, these people are just like terrible, and all for a children's karate dojo. Like it's just like, it's ridiculous, and then my favorite moment of the whole show is just when Daniel is in Okinawa with Kumiko, who was his love interest.
Oh, that got me so much, bro.
Yeah, and she reads the letter that Miyagi like wrote, like that just broke me. Like the performance by Tamida, I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing her name wrong, but she plays Kumiko. Like just seeing her face, like she was just so happy to be there. Just like that moment just gets me every time. It's awesome. So 10 out of 10. Screw it. I don't. Oh wait, decimals. Sorry, 9.8.
No, I'm giving it a 10. No, you said your answer already. Well said, though. I'm really glad you brought that up. Honestly, that got me when the Karate Kid Part 2 characters started coming back, seeing Chosen, and I just brought back good memory. That's actually my favorite of a series. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gabe knows. I love that one. That second Karate Kid. So
amazing.
And to be fair, it might have been a little plot convenient or whatever. And me and Gabe for the stream, we were talking about plot conveniences. But I just love that the girl that's doing the car deal was the girl he saved from the hurricane. Like, I just thought that was so cool.
That was
like,
amazing. So
like,
good.
I
And the
love
same
that,
actress. The same actress too. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
I like the idea that your good deeds will pay off at some point, even though it's miraculous. It worked for the show. It was such a good moment. I think for me, I'm a sucker for the dynamics and the build up to what we were expecting. And I think the emotion of Miguel Robbie won. I love that, and I love that it kind of played off the first one a little bit. You know, Robbie had the injury, but then, you know, Miguel was in Cobra Kai mode and he was ruthless and he got his championship. And it's like he did it in like a douchey manner, but at the same time, the whole like first season I was rooting for him. So there was a part of me that was just happy, and it just worked out that way. But it also felt weird rooting against Miyagi Do, who I have sided with more recently. So it's just an interesting dynamic there. And then, as much as season 2 wasn't my favorite of the 4, I really liked Eli's turn when he shakes Dimitri's hand, and it's like, all right, let's do this. And they're at the park and they start double teaming on the other Cobra Kai guys. Love that moment. And the music changes and it's just like, oh, Hawk's on Team Miyagi now. I love that moment. That was one of those stand-up hell yeah moments. You know, Gabe, you were talking about that a second ago. Also, I think the one that really stuck with me, and this is a little bit of recency bias. Admittedly, I haven't rewatched all the seasons like more recently, but Terry Silver beating the shit out of what's his name, the goofy guy, the chubby guy.
Oh, Stingray.
Oh man, that was brutal, and he gave him some good ones, and it was just like, you want to be in Cobra Kai? Like, I was like, yo, like, because at first I thought Terry Silver was going to be more of a subvert expectation and just be like, not what we think. But then it's like, yo, he is crazy. Like, this guy is unhinged. And I liked that turn, man. You know what? Here, Dives brings up a good point. He says Terry Silver's intro was legit. And you got to love the maestro on the piano. Like there was something demented about it, you know? Like, him just like the way he was playing it, you could just like feel like his energy, like, oh, this guy is a little on edge here, you know. So
honestly, he saved Karate Kid 3 from being an absolute dumpster fire. Like, what
we've had this conversation, yeah. I like 3. I get why you don't like it, but I like it.
Yeah, hey, no judges, but yeah, 3 for me. But love Terry Silver, that piano theme, and yeah, him sitting at the piano playing that classical piece was a chef's kiss. And it just really, like, it establishes a vibe for this character. You know what I mean? He's sinister. Like, when it comes to Kreese, there are still some kind of relatable things about him. You know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of like there are some ways we could still empathize. With Terry Silver, that's straight maniacal right there.
Yeah, he's like a vet. Yeah, he's a vet. He's kind of like a guy who owns a gym. So it's kind of like, yeah. And then Terry Silver is like all cocaine and insanity.
Right. The fact that they I thought that was so brilliant that they were like, oh yeah, the reason behind his crazy episodes is the cocaine. Like, perfect.
And you're like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It was the 80s, you know? Yep. Like, it's like, yeah.
I love that they touched on that. So yeah, for my grade, God, I want to give it a 10 too, but you know what?
Do it.
Well, you know, I was going to say, the fact that I cried during that Miyagi letter scene too, I'm going to give it a 10.
All right.
I mean,
all right.
That's why I care so much. Like, otherwise, I probably would have skipped this show. It's like stuff like that really made it work. So this actually brings us to a good point. Rewatchability. And I hate to say that, you know, like, don't hear what I'm not saying, because I haven't really revisited all the seasons as much. I've mostly been kind of recapping it as each new season comes along. But overall, I think when all is said and done, let's say it ends. Do you know when it ends, Leo?
Which one?
Is it targeted like to be 5-6 seasons, or we don't know?
Don't know. There's no confirmation. I know they have a confirmed for a season 5.
They've said at least 6 seasons.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be 6. I don't see it go beyond that.
Yeah, I can't see them going past 6.
I really hope they don't stretch this out. But I think when all is said and done, and we look back at it as a whole, I am 100% going to revisit this series. I think it has a lot of great rewatchability factors, especially because with every great show, you know, you get attached to these people. And it's interesting when a show ends, you feel like you're losing your friends, or you feel like you're losing someone that you just spent how many hours getting to know and following their ups and downs and their love lives and their heartbreaks and their failures. And I'm definitely going to revisit this. I have a lot of fondness for a lot of these characters. I mean, Sam's not one of my favorites, but I feel for her at times. Tori grew on me. I didn't like her at first, but I really appreciate that she's taking care of her mom. She's kind of on her own. She's just trying to survive, and maybe that comes off harshly for some people, but she had a hard life. She didn't have a silver spoon in her mouth like Sam did. And same thing with Miguel. You know, he's got just his mom with him, and he's right in this next season, he's looking for his father. And I think there's so many interesting storylines here. And I think I'm going to revisit this a lot. I'm going to give this an 8.5.
What?
I don't know how many times I'm going to rewatch the whole season, but I'll give it an 8.5.
Okay.
What about you, Gabe, man? Rewatchability, how would you grade it? Do you see yourself coming back to this over and over as the years go by?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've already done it. I like, before next season comes out, I'm gonna rewatch the whole thing. I watched each season except for four I've only watched once, but each of the first 3 seasons like 3 times each. Like it you know, it's kind of like, I mean, not to crap up on other shows that don't do this, but the half an hour per episode thing, it's actually really effective. Like, I really liked it with like the earlier Mandalorian episodes and WandaVision, like, and it's the same with Cobra Kai. Like, those episodes half an hour, and now you watch, like, you know, Moon Knight, and they were like 50 minutes. It's like, well, okay, I mean, that's fine, but it's always like, you know, a good contained 30-minute story. It's pretty good. So I mean, I don't want to give it a 10 because dives will kill me, but and also decimals. So I guess I'll give her a 9.73.
Decimals.
So Dives over here saying my decimal game is weak. Put the Tito's down, Dives. I know what's going on here. He is in full Joker mode right now. He is here to watch us burn, and he's rooting for the decimals.
He's quoting Godzilla 98. Did you see that? He's like quoting John Renault's "You call this coffee."
Oh, the coffee! You call this Cobra Kai? Yes.
Anyways, Leo, rewatchability, man. I know you love this show. How many times have you rewatched it in its entirety yet?
Oh yeah, I've rewatched it. I think that first season and second season I've rewatched at least 4 times, and then the third season 3 times. This recent season, I'm with you, Gabe. I've only watched once, but all the way through. I've definitely gone through some moments and stuff again. But honestly, this is gonna sound bare bones as hell. Cobra Kai is only 30 minutes an episode. Like, I feel like that right there is making me more likely to go back and rewatch this than most of TV content that's coming out today, which is 45 minutes plus. Because let's be real, when you got a 30-minute episode, a 25-minute episode, a 28-minute episode, it's easy. It's easy to blow through. I could sit down and one day blow through that whole first season. When I first stumbled upon this series, it was on YouTube Red, 2 seasons. I blew through them 2 seasons in like 2 days because it's easy to just boom. How many episodes a season? Like 10? Okay, so that's 5 hours roughly. If you don't got nothing going on the weekend, yeah, that's easy.
You go right through.
It's
as opposed to a 2.5-hour season finale, right?
I know. Stranger Things. Look, I'm so excited for the season, but I'm like, damn, that's a long ass finale. But yeah, I rewatchability, great moments. And honestly, in most episodes, there's like one epic moment. There's like one moment during the episode, you're just like, oh my god. So it makes it rewatchable and enjoyable every time over. So I would have to grade this pretty high. I'm definitely leaning in the 9 cat like territory. I think I would go with 9.27. Nope, 9.273. 0.273. Can I?
No, I'm only going 2 spots, y'all. Hold on. I'm already upset.
Stranger Things, I'm about to get crazy with this shit.
Man, this is tough, man. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna lead us off here with the overall grade. Like I said, we don't. You guys said it already. We don't come here for the visuals, but
Knife is so angry at me. Like, why only me? Like, everybody's grading this shit. Like,
oh man. Anyways, overall, I think what this show has accomplished, I think, is really monumental. I think, especially in an era where nostalgia is almost oversaturated at this point, where it's like, remember this character, and I think,
like
for better or worse,
Afterlife? Yeah.
Right. No, and for better or worse, I loved Afterlife. I was gonna say, I'm not gonna say nothing about that, but The Force Awakens kind of, in a way, The Force Awakens kind of sparked that fire a little bit, and you see bringing back Han Solo and seeing Princess Leia, and we started seeing media do this, and then we had Halloween bring back Laurie Strode, and then ignored all the sequels, and then so it became this kind of a trending thing.
Sorry.
No worries, but yeah, I think in general, I think what Cobra Kai has accomplished here is really impressive. With that being said, I really, really, really like the show. I've enjoyed every season, more or less. I think overall, I'm gonna grade the show an 8.8. Gabe, how would you grade the series as a whole? All 4 seasons, everything put together.
I mean, that's kind of hard. I mean, it's always hard to grade a whole season, a whole series, because there's ups and downs. Like Leo talked about season 2, for example. I agree with you. Like, season 2 was not my. I think it got better as it went along, but when it started, it didn't have the. Like, this has an episode where they're training on a cement truck. That I think that's probably the worst episode of the season. Like, it's just like, what are you doing? It felt like product placement on the truck. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but like the cement truck, like you can see the brand like right on the screen. Yep. So I mean, all shows like have their ups and downs. Like, there's no show that's like perfect all the way through. Like, people talk about Breaking Bad or whatever. Like, this episode of like Breaking Bad, where you're like, what the hell am I watching? So like, within that like, considering that, like, I think Cobra Kai has kept it really engaging for 4 seasons, but I don't think it's perfect. So I think it's a clear like 8.95 out of 10, which is really, really good when you consider, that's what, 40 episodes at this point ish, give or take.
Yeah, no, I mean, we obviously enjoy this show a lot. I mean, just how much we've gushed about all the moments and the character work, and yeah, no, I'm not surprised by your score at all. Leo, what would you grade it for an overall grade?
Yeah, Gabe makes great points. I mean, there's ups and downs in the show. I will say the same about season 2, as I said a little bit earlier in the stream. Season 2 was definitely the weakest season in my opinion, and I think it kind of dipped down towards like the first half of season 2, and then you get towards that like second half when the boiling over of Robbie and Miguel really starts to build and comes to a boiling point. I think that's when it gets better. So there are definitely some ebbs and flows of the show, just like every show. Well said about Breaking Bad, Gabe, because there's some in Breaking Bad season 2 that I was just like, huh? When we brought in Kristen Ritter, for example, I was just like, man, it's feeling kind of slow right now. But Cobra Kai overall has some very like legendary moments. It's got a very engaging story. It's got a story that makes you just feel good. Like, no matter what, like, there are just these moments that just make you feel absolutely euphoric. The Kimiko one, for example, it makes you just feel amazing. There are just these moments that you can eat them up and love. So I got to go with an 8.923. 8.923.
I'll take
Gotta get 3 in there.
8.92.
No. I said 8.923, sir.
I heard you.
Stranger Things, I'm gonna get even crazier, so be prepared.
Oh man, I'm not ready for it. All right, with that being said, though, let's jump right into Stranger Things. Season 4 is premiering next week. I'm so excited. I'm gonna be honest, guys. Look, it's not so much bias as it is that when Stranger Things first came out, the second that intro hit, the do 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 do, and the credits, and I was thinking about Terminator, and then we get the bike ride through Mirkwood. I'm thinking about E.T. I'm thinking about Stand By Me. We see Winona Ryder, and then the kids, they're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm just like, I love this show. Like, and I'm not even trying to exaggerate, but I fangirled the second the series started, and I don't want to be biased or whatever, but look, I grew up on the Goonies and you know that Amblin Entertainment Steven Spielberg vibe, and it speaks to me so much. One of the reasons why I love Super 8, and I will die on a hill defending that movie. A lot of people don't like it, whatever. Call it a Spielberg knockoff, whatever. But when it's done right, I just love that dynamic of kids on an adventure. It makes me feel like when I was a kid, when I used to ride my bike, and me and my buddies would just think up stupid shit like, hey, let's go to this park and just fucking jump off this tree. Yeah, let's fucking do it. You know, so it captures that spirit of adventure, and add in the sci-fi, almost horror-esque elements, especially the Demogorgons look like something out of The Thing. And then when you start discovering that the Upside Down is like another dimension, it adds like this sci-fi element to it. And I'm gonna be honest, man, I'm really biased. I love everything about Stranger Things story-wise. And I'm gonna say it with my chest. Look, I got the shirt on. I'm gonna say it with my chest. I'm gonna say it in my chest. I really it resonates with me, and I like the character work as well. It's not all about the nostalgia and the dynamics of what I like. It's also, I really enjoy the character work. I mean, Millie Bobby Brown's great. David Harbour especially is great as Hopper, and then their dynamic is great. The father, he lost his daughter, and then she comes into his life, and I love that. And then, you know, Will Byers being gone the first season, him coming back and being the outsider of the group, and there's so many things here that I just really enjoy. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna give this story a 10. I'm on board for the journey that's to come. I've loved every season. I really, really liked every single season, and I liked every single dynamic they've introduced. You know, bringing in Max, bringing in you know, the guy, God, really? I haven't. What was the guy that wants a strawberry Slurpee?
Sergey. No, Sergey.
Yeah, Sergey. Like,
no. Alexei.
Like, the fact that they made me care about him so much, and spoiler alert, y'all, I was so devastated. Like, it was like the Bob scene all over again. Like, they make me care about these characters. They're not even the main characters. Like, that is an accomplishment to me. So I am on board with whatever the Duffer Brothers do at this point. And I'm excited. Give me the 3-hour finale. I don't care. I'm here for it. So I'm going to give the story a 10, man. I'm going to throw it down to you, Leo. How is the story for you with Stranger Things?
So I started Stranger Things right before the second season came out on Netflix. And I was kind of like, oh, like, this show seems super cool. A lot of people are talking about it. So let me go back and watch that first season, excuse me. The first season I watched twice over before the second season. It was that good. Perfect blend of horror, mystery, and sci-fi. I thought, wow, what a fantastic 80s Easter egg hunt that also blends in this mystery of Will Byers disappearing and everybody having to really congregate in the town and figure out what the hell is going on with these creatures. Fan-freaking-tastic first season. Like, that hooked me in so much that I think it gave me a lot more faith in Netflix originals. Because I was kind of like on the outside, like, you know, these Netflix originals, House of Cards, whatever. But then when I watched that first season of Stranger Things, I was like, okay, we're hitting the gas on Netflix. I love the first season. Absolutely loved it. Unfortunately, the second season for me is really rough. There are some stories that happened in that second season, like 11 being away from the group and being in this other group with 8 and stuff like that. Did not like that stuff at all. I think the Demodogs were a terrible creature choice. I was just like, I'm not really here with the hive mind stuff, whatever. I love that first season though. Like, I loved it so much. And then 3 comes back around for me where I loved the hell out of 3. Just like I did 1. I was like, I feel like I'm back in it, because season 2 kind of threw me out a little. I'm not even going to front here. I was a little disappointed by season 2. I was kind of like, okay, are we good here? 3 really brought me back in, and 4 looks like it's going to be excellent. Like you said, Lo, they do great character work, make you care about characters who aren't even really in the core group, like Bob, Alexi. They really make these characters so enjoyable. In that second season, though, like Mike takes a nosedive for me in terms of a character. I'm like, ugh, I hate how he is with Max. Nope. Because it was like, okay, that was Lucas's dynamic in the first season. Are we really going to rehash that and make Mike that character this season? And then also in the second season, we had Will. He was like the problem character again. And I was kind of like, okay, he disappeared the first season. Now he's possessed. Come on, man. Like, what's going on with Will? Really, it seems like he's just that target character to really center the problems around. And I was like, let's choose another kid or, go another direction instead of making Will the one to search for, one to look out for again. I thought that was just a little bit too much of a rehash. So I will say 1 and 3, so strong. 2 was just not it for me. So story-wise, I gotta go with like an 8.02, just because, unfortunately, season 2 took such a nosedive for me. But 1 and 3
give it an 8, bro.
Oh, good.
Let's give it an 8. Good lord.
8.02, my man. We ain't rolling with no 8s here.
So, Dives over here is sipping some Tito's, singing Never Ending Story. Look at what you see. Shouts out to Wesley. Thank you for joining us. He still needs to watch Cobra Kai, but Stranger Things is one of his favorite shows ever. Hell yeah, Wesley. Dives is overjoyed, a little bit too excited, but it's okay. Gabe, how would you grade Stranger Things story? And actually, real quick, I hear you on season 2 kind of they did a little bit of retreat with the map thing. It was very similar to the Christmas lights. And then well, I thought the map thing was cool in a way, but Babysitter Steve saved it for me. I thought Babysitter Steve was great.
Steve was awesome.
You know what I mean? I loved flipping his dynamic and then his rivalry with Max's brother. And for me, there's a lot of things for me to love here. But Gabe, please, how did the story affect you for Stranger Things? And what's your?
It's interesting because I actually, I don't agree with. I actually like season 2 better than 1. To me, I've liked every season more than the one before. Like my favorite season is 3, then 2, then 1. Not that I dislike any of the seasons. Yeah. I mean, not that I dislike any of the seasons. Like, this is a good show, right? Like, of course. But the point you made about them rethreading the story, that is absolutely true. You have the guy turning against the team. You have Will being the MacGuffin again to some level. I think, not to make this too long, but like it is true that like 1 and 2 were kind of like based upon the same things, and the same things Stand By Me. They have the like walking the train tracks again. They like have many things to do again. E.T., they have many things again, like in 1 and 2, and then in 3, I think they went in another direction. So they have like an actual Terminator in there, like this is like, yeah. So, but I mean, it comes from story beats from movies that everybody loves, to some level. Back to the Future, whatever, it comes from story beats for movies that everybody loves. So within that, you can't just say like the story's bad because it's based on something we like, and it does it again with a good twist. It's like it doesn't make it predictable. It's not Ghostbusters Afterlife. So in that sense,
he's right. It is predictable.
The hell are you gonna take jabs at them for? I like that movie.
Also starring Finn Wolfhard. I do think that this story, to me at least, what resonates with me the most about Stranger Things is not the story but the characters. Like the story, like the Demogorgon, the Upside Down, it's like, okay, so whatever. But like what I want to know is what's going to happen to Steve Harrington next time the Demogorgon does something. And I want to know what happens to Lucas next time the Demogorgon does something. And you know what I mean? So I think within that, if you think about characters and story as like 2 separate beats, which I think, you can do, I think Stranger Things is great, but not my favorite in the story department. So I would agree with Leo and gave it a 8.17. But not exactly agree, but close enough, right?
Yeah, that's close. We on the 8 wavelength.
Give or take. All right, I think this one's almost not fair. Especially in terms of visual effects and like style. But visually, man, Leo, how would you grade Stranger Things?
You're right. It's not fair. It's like, okay, we're taking a very CGI heavy show versus one with barely any CGI at all.
Right.
I mean, really, like the visuals, again, kind of like Cobra Kai with the fight choreography, have stair-stepped their way up as the seasons have gone. Really have loved the look of the creatures in the most recent season. I think season 3 really kind of nailed it. Kind of hit the nail on the head. I think season 1 and 2, they were kind of trying to figure out how we want the creatures from the upside down to look, how we want the upside down to feel. They really gave us a great establishment of how that looks and feels in season 3, when they were at the mall and that giant monster comes out and possesses Billy and things like that. I think that's where the visual effects really hit. So I think that visually, excellent. I mean, you go to the upside down and really they don't do too much besides add a lens, a little bit of a different lens, and then also a little bit of the flurries on there. I was like, okay, that's cool. This is a great way to illustrate the world that's the same but upside down. So I like that there wasn't this like huge CGI fest with that. And then on the other hand, you have some cool visual creatures. Yeah, I didn't like the Demodogs and the Hive Mind, but they looked freaking awesome. I mean, I can't say they looked bad because they looked freaking spectacular. And then you have the Shadow Monster in the second season. The third season, the Shadow Monster comes back. I mean, the Mind Flayer, I think is what it's called. Yeah. Love the visuals. The visuals are excellent. And the cinematography is great as well. I think this is where Stranger Things shines out of the 3 categories that we're talking about here. It's visually very tasty. It's great. I mean, it's a visual extravaganza. So in terms of visuals, out of 10, I gotta go with like a 9.52. This is really, really Stranger Things like strength here. They do well with the visuals. Very, very well. Not to mention like the possession and kind of alien-like references with Will being possessed and having the little creature in him. I'm like, this is top notch. Bringing back these 80s and references also, and visually making them better. Shouts out
that cliffhanger of season 1 when the door opens.
Oh,
wait, no, is that the beginning of season 2 or is that the cliffhanger? No, the cliffhanger is he's looking in the mirror, right? And he spits out.
Yeah, because Will spits out the little creature.
Okay, but then when he first you know what it reminded me of? Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That I think it was the beginning of season 2 when the door opens and he sees like the thing in the sky.
Yeah, that's season 2.
Oh, that shot is just crazy. That's cinema.
It's the Mind Flayer like over the mall. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's so good. What about you, Gabe? And actually, real quick, Wesley over here saying season 3 is his favorite. Just loves the feel of 80s summer. I agree, man. I really enjoyed season 3 as well. What about you, Gabe?
I mean, I agree with everything Leo said. I do think like this is flawless from a visual perspective. I don't see anything like there's not one shot that you're like that wasn't the best shot. The visual atmosphere, like to Wesley's point, like seasons 1 and 2 were kind of like set in the fall, you know, kind of like more of a darker environment, and then they introduced this is what a shiny, colorful Stranger Things looks like in season 3, and they introduced like a mall, and it's one of those malls that had like a how do you call it? Like the light came in through the ceiling, like a skylight. Yeah, like skylight. Like it had like a skylight and it had like neon everywhere. And then Wonder Woman 84 tried to do the same thing in that opening scene kind of thing. Not successfully, but they did. Because it's just like, okay, this is the dark Stranger Things, like spring something new. And I think the new one, we haven't seen it yet, of course, but like it feels like a haunted house movie in some ways. Like they have that clock, you know. So they bring in like new things that are not within the realm of this world yet, but they come in and just feel organic. Like this is what this looks like for Stranger Things. And I think as much as I love Cobra Kai, like I think Cobra Kai just feels like Cobra Kai throughout. Like it doesn't do anything like particularly different, I think, throughout the seasons. Like even Okinawa still looks like, you know, the San Fernando Valley, you know?
Yeah.
Here they try new things and it still feels as part of it. So I cannot find a flaw in the visuals of Stranger Things. I would give it a 9.99 just to mess with Dives.
Oh shit, yeah.
With Dives, with Low. Also with Dives.
It's just visually like fantastic.
So good.
Like flawless.
So yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, some spots the CG is a little rough, but I think overall, the production design is what shouts out to me. I mean, season 1 and 2, like you're saying, Gabe, it very much shares the same aesthetic, but I loved getting like the county fair, the carnival, you know, and then getting the Chips Ahoy uniforms, and then having a secret Russian base underneath the mall, and then like having the elevator scene, and then there's a lot of elements visually that I think was really striking with the 3rd season, and I like that, you know, they didn't just keep repeating like similar, you know, oh, here's another secret government building we got to break into again, you know. And
yes,
I have like that Steve suit, by the way, the Ahoy one. I have that.
That's awesome, man. And no joke, I actually bought a gray members only jacket because of Steve.
Nice.
I love members only jackets. I got 3 of them actually. I got a black one, I got a gray one. Anyways, I mean, if it's not obvious, I have a thing for the 80s, and I think they just nail it, man. They nail the look. I also love that Max and 11 had that bonding moment where they just kind of went shopping. They were just being like teenage girls, and they were doing all the outfits and stuff, and it just, I mean, like, God, they just really capture the spirit of that time, you know, like, just like, you know, I mean, what else are they gonna do? Go to the mall, right? So, yeah, visually, you guys nailed it, man. You guys, the creature design's incredible. If I saw a Demogorgon in real life, I don't know what I'd do, but I might peep myself. I don't know. I'd be shaking my boots, man. That's a scary situation. You know, hats off to Steve with his spiked bat, you know. You know, it's so hard. I don't want to give it all 10s. I really don't. I want to, but I'm not gonna do that.
Oh man! Look,
no, I'm not gonna give the visuals
low.
a 10. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. I'll give it a solid 9. But you know, I think it looks great. And going into memorable moments, I'm gonna kick us off here. I want to highlight some like emotional moments in between characters. Like, I really liked Hopper and Eleven's moment in the cabin when they have like their fight. And I love it because, I mean, we have all butted heads with our parents, right? Sometimes our parents are annoying, or sometimes it's like, God, you don't let me do this, or you don't listen to me. And then like, imagine having that argument with a powered individual, right? So I love the dynamic of they're arguing, and Eleven's like flinging things across the room, and Hopper's like, hey, like he's in dad mode. He's like, he's not backing down, but he's like, you better quit that shit out. You know, I love that. It's so natural, their dynamic, and I really like that moment. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a sucker. I'm a hopeless romantic at heart. I wear my heart in my sleeve, and you know, the good built-up romances do it for me. So I really enjoyed the prom moment where they all got their kisses and stuff like that. You know, Lucas got his. I was like, yes, my boy. He got his kiss and stuff like that. I loved that. And then, you know, another one I want to highlight. I already said it earlier, but Dustin and Steve is probably one of my favorite pairings. I love it when, you know, Dustin walks up like, hey, you know, we got a problem. Bring your bat. Like, shit's about to go down, you know, and that's when he became Babysitter Steve. And I love that. I love that dynamic. Him kind of just looking out for the kids and being the good guy, not being the jerk that he was in season 1. And I like the character turn there. So memorable moments. God, it's so hard for me to not keep giving this all 9s and 10s. But I love these characters. I'm gonna give it a 9.3. Gabe, how about you, man? Just give me like a general, maybe like a top 3 memorable moments, man. And then what's a grade?
I think. I mean, there's. I don't know if this show is so much about moments, but I think it's. I mean, I agree. Your moments are great, but I think it's more of a process kind of thing. Like, it's not. There's no moment where Steve Harrington is like, okay, he's finally good. He's not a douchebag anymore. Like it's a progress. Like in season 1, it's a progress between like 3 or 4 episodes where he's like fights with his friends, then fights the Demogorgon, then gets back together with Nancy, then gets a camera for Jonathan that he broke. So it's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And then he gets in that fight with Nancy in season 2, and then he's at his lowest, and then he has the let's get the bat again moment, which was awesome. I agree with you. So I don't know if this show is like, and it's intentional. Like it's not like a flaw in the show in any way, but it's not really about like the moment where you cheer. It's more about like, I like where I'm at with Steve Harrington now, which I think season 3 saw him at his lowest, right? This is like, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like scooping ice cream in a mall. and then the
Right.
girl I like decide I like halfway through the season turns out she's like, into she's a lesbian. Like it's just like it's a guy that doesn't know what he's doing. So again, I like more the progress than the specific moments. I really enjoy like every time Steve like holds the bat, like especially when he like kind of like swings it and then boom, like
He does like a little
like,
twirl. Yeah.
yeah, those are good. He's wearing the Marty McFly shoes, which I love.
Oh, so good.
Yes.
I love the that scene in the fun fair in season 3 with like the Terminator guy chasing Hopper and then sort of fighting. That was kind of like really the climax of the first Terminator, which I really enjoyed. And that guy
And it was in a
God,
fun
good.
house. Like
It
it was
a
like in a
funhouse.
with like the goofy mirrors and shit.
instead of a factory, right? Like instead of a factory, it's still like a moving environment. So they kind of like try to do their twist on it. I like it very much, but again, it's not so much about moments than it is about progression. So I think there, like Stranger Things, I would put it below Cobra Kai. Again, not unintentionally for them, but I would give it a 8.78.
Oh man, you know what? I actually forgot one. Let me just knock one off really quickly. The never-ending story sequence is one of the funniest things. Like I could not stop laughing, especially when Dusty and his girlfriend start singing, and then the look on Hopper's face is just he's so done with their shit. He's just like, we're about to die. And then same thing with Will's mom. She just like puts her head against the wall, like. But yeah, I love that whole sequence. It's so fun with the mind flayer chasing their car, and then all they hear is Dusty singing "Never Ending Story." It's just so fun. For you, Leo, give me a top 3 and just an overall grade for your memorable moments.
Oh, so it's so hard because I'm with Gabe in terms of this. Instead of like moments, the progression is what you really like digest and enjoy. Like you really enjoy the progression of the story and the characters. It's not necessarily specific moments, but it's just like that, the characters. But I guess if I had to narrow it down to 3 moments, and I know I shat on season 2, but hear me out. Love the 11 Mike reunite moment. I think that's such a beautiful moment because, I mean, she's been missing the whole season. And I think it was like episode 8 or 9 of that season where it was like, finally, like it kind of was just like a breath of fresh air. Love that.
Yeah.
Love the first season. Honestly, I like the finales of both the first season and the third season. So like that finale, like 11 kind of destroying the creature, telling Mike, like, I got it, like, goodbye. She essentially told him goodbye and was like, boom. The creature's gone, and it left us on a hell of a cliffhanger. So I love that. And then, the Terminator moment in season 3, baby. Come on, baby. T1, T2, let's go. But I think I agree with you, Gabe. I just think it's more about the progression of these characters. It's more about the progression of the moments in the story in the season. Whereas Cobra Kai, you've got these big moments in every single episode. Here, it's like we string every episode together, and it's a big moment as a whole. So like as a whole, the story just weaves through a lot better than like specific moments. But there are some great moments in Stranger Things. Don't get me wrong. I mean, 11 destroying it, even the end of season 2, 11 closing the gate and using her anger to channel her powers and all that. I thought that was really cool. Love kind of being left on the cliffhanger of whether or not Hopper's dead in the end of season 3. I kind of wish they wouldn't have revealed that in trailers, y'all. I'm like, damn, they gave us a season 4 trailer and Hopper's right there. I'm like, come
why
on, man.
Why did they
like,
do that? Like, why the hell did they do that? I never understood what they did.
I really wish they would have just left us hanging, left us feeling like, damn, is Hopper dead or not? Because it would have just been fun to take the theory dive that we had with WandaVision. But anyway, I do like the memorable moments, but I think the seasons as a whole string together a lot better than specific moments. But yeah, man, love the Steve Bat moments, him versus Billy. I was hoping he would beat Billy, but thank goodness for Max, right? But yeah, I think if I had to grade it, I absolutely agree. Lower than Cobra Kai, I would go with the 8.123.
8.123.
Like think about like the twist, like the twist of like Hawk has a moment when he becomes good, and compare that to the moment when Steve Harrington becomes good. Like the Hawk moment is like boom, he's saving Dimitri.
Yeah.
And then the Steve moment is like 3 episodes, and all of a sudden he's like, "What is the Demogorgon? Give me the bat." Oh,
Right,
you know,
right.
it's like it's a progression.
Very
Intentionally
well said.
so. Yeah.
All right, so really quick before we hit the next topic, I just want to say thank you, Wesley. He says he
Aw.
loves listening to us every time we get off of work. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, Wesley. Where is the other one? Goonies never say die. But that being said, going into rewatchability here, I'm gonna be honest. I rewatched all these seasons a lot. I really love Winona Ryder as Joyce Spires.
She is so good, dude.
Especially the first season, just with her like mourning, like what she thinks might be just the missing like Will is like, you know, she never gave up on him, but at the same time, like she's just feeling that anguish, and she should have won an Emmy or something for that. I mean, she was so good. Rewatchability though, it's funny. I know the story beats. The mystery isn't quite mysterious once you've seen it, but it's just I love the characters. I love just being a part of the story. I love the score, like you said, Leo. The score is amazing, and there's so many things that it's like why do we rewatch our favorite movies? We just love being in them, right? We love the vibe. We love the experience, right? And even though we know, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger's gonna put the thumbs up in the lava, we're gonna watch it again. You know, it's like an amazing moment. Like, and it's still sad. It's still sad, right? Right? I know now why you cry. Fuck you. Like, like the first time he said that, I was like really little, and I was like, where's he going?
Like, if you break that scene down, it's like not only is like he finally came to think like a human.
Right.
She finally learned to love him, and then they have to kill him by lowering him slowly into like melting. It's like, what the hell is going on? Like,
oh man, but
James Cameron.
Gabe, thank you for your classic cinespection tangent here. I kicked it off, but you know you kept.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But overall, though, rewatchability though, this is an easy one for me. I'll give it like an 8.8. Some of the since the episodes are longer than Cobra Kai, I'll admit, guys, like Cobra Kai is easier to digest. It's like, you know, you can go through season 2 or 1 like nothing, but it's definitely Stranger Things is something that I really adore, and I'll definitely revisit, you know, over the years. So I'll give it an 8.8. Gabe, what about you, man?
You know, I'm rewatching it right now in anticipation to next week because my girlfriend hadn't seen it before. She thought it was like a horror show. I guess in a way it is kind of like a horror show, but she was like, I don't want to watch horror things, like it's too scary. But I kind of like pushed her to watch it right now, and we're right in that episode in season 2 where 8 shows up, which is probably the worst episode of the series. But I am enjoying it so much on rewatch. I didn't think I would enjoy it this much, like, because it's the kind of show that every time you watch it, you enjoy new things. You find new things. It's like, okay, well, like this reference. Oh, that's what that was about. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's many references I didn't really catch from the first time. And then you're like, okay, there's a lot of the Thing in here. There's a lot of Alien. Like, I didn't realize how many Alien references there were. And I think the demo dogs in season 2 are like aliens when the Demogorgon was the alien in season 1. Like stuff like that I didn't really notice. So I think it's more rewatchable than I probably thought it was. It's really good. So in rewatchability, I'd give it a 9.47.
High praise. 9.47. And you know what? When we are a little pressed for time, I know you have to watch Men in maybe a half hour or so. So go ahead and give me your overall graded series and kind of give me your final thoughts about Stranger Things as a whole. Like, you know, just in general.
Yeah, I mean, look, Stranger Things, it's just like Stranger Things is a product a bit of the Force Awakens syndrome, which is like half of pop culture now. And it's bleeded into even the MCU, which is like, let's bring in these like older people and just let's do what you liked again, and have them play the same characters again. Stranger Things is a bit different because they don't bring in the same actors, you know, to play the characters they played in the 80s, but they have the same themes, the same plot points. So The Force Awakens like just took everything you like from Star Wars, like here it is again, but for the new audiences, and expanded so you like it more. Ghostbusters Afterlife keeps coming up. Terminator, not Genesis, Dark Fate, did something similar. Like many Halloween Kills, all of these movies like keep doing some level of that. Stranger Things like stands way ahead of those movies because of those other projects. Even Cobra Kai, in the sense of we don't need to rely on like bringing back, like they bring in Paul Reiser, for example, in season 2, and he doesn't play the same douchebag he played in Aliens. You know what I mean? Like he plays actually a pretty sympathetic character.
Yeah.
But he is
helps
Paul
him out
Reiser
at the end.
right?
It's actually pretty touching.
And for season 4, they're bringing in Robert Englund, like, which is just amazing. Like, but I don't know if he's going to play a villain. He might, and that'd be awesome. But if he doesn't, it would also be great to see him as something else. He's, so all this to say, like, Stranger Things is like the kind of nostalgia that doesn't only rely on nostalgia and relies on so many things, like great character work, great themes, cinematography, like we already talked about, the visuals, like all these things. So it's a really great show. It's not a perfect show. I really don't think it's a perfect show, but no show is, like I said before. So overall, I mean, I would give it a what did I get Cobra Kai overall?
You gave Cobra Kai an 8.95.
Okay, so I will give Stranger Things probably an 8.76 because it's a bit under Cobra Kai, but not really much because I just enjoy them so much. It's really like, it annoys me to even have to pick, because they're both awesome.
No, well said. And you know what I love that you brought up with the characters from the 80s not playing the same characters. I mean, the fact that they do that is awesome. Like Sean Astin was Mikey in the Goonies. Matthew Modine was a big guy. Like he was much more popular in the 80s. So I like that you brought that up. Leah, what about you, man? Let's just hit us, group them together, grade, rewatchability, and just your overall feelings and grade for Stranger Things as a whole.
Also, Winona Ryder in Alien Resurrection has all the knowledge, and here she has none of the knowledge. Love that. But okay. Wait, we're overall grade, or we...
Do rewatchability first, but then kind of follow it up with your overall feelings of the show.
Rewatchability, so I'm currently, I was going back through before I got Stranger Things season 4 a little early. So I was at season 2, and I kind of hit a brick wall at season 2, not gonna lie. But I was like making my way through season 2. I was like, okay, this is getting better as we're going through. But honestly, it is a little harder to chew just because there's longer episodes and it's more of a mystery. So you got to follow along a little bit closer than with Cobra Kai. Like we were saying, Cobra Kai is easier to digest, I think. Due to that visual category, Stranger Things is going to win. I mean, let's be 100%. Like, I'm like, bruh, like the visual category was so strong and such a big feast. But back to the rewatchability. I do think that there's some good rewatchability here. I definitely think, especially the first and third seasons, are such a joy to go back and rewatch. I mean, I really loved, and I know about the twist in season 1, but I loved going back through that twist. Like, I love going back through the mystery and seeing it once more. Like, I just loved going to find Will, like you were saying, Gabe, connecting dots again, seeing references, noticing new things after a fresh rewatch. Absolutely fantastic. So I gotta give, rewatchability wise, I think I gotta give it like probably like an 8.2978.
Was that rewatchability?
Yeah, 8.2978.
I'm gonna do 8.29.
78, man. Hold on. No.
And then overall grade.
Great series.
And just overall thoughts of the show.
Oh, for sure. Great series.
By the way, did you guys see anything weird happen on the stream a second ago?
I think you were froze.
Yeah, my screen tripped out, but I'm glad I didn't totally disappear. All right, go ahead, man.
Overall, visually phenomenal. Character writing, fantastic. It has such a phenomenal score that I will be absolutely looking for that score for all the seasons as soon as I can get my hands on them. I think that it's a very great blend of sci-fi, horror, 80s nostalgia, and mystery. I think it just really takes these elements and really just puts them in a blender and makes the perfect smoothie that's just so satisfying to many people, myself and all of us included. I think even though with the dip in season 2, I still think it had a very strong resurgence for me with season 3, and it really does the best with its characters. Like, it really makes you care about the core group: 11, Hopper, Joyce, like Jonathan, Nancy, and Steve, which I will say Jonathan and Nancy, but Steve especially, fantastic. I really, really love this series. I'm going with an 8.679.
8.67. No wonder you didn't like season 2, because Nancy and Jonathan hook up.
Yeah, they
I was
do.
kinda
They get a
rooting for
little
the
hot
guy.
and heavy. But I feel
Yeah.
like they had nothing to do in season 3 besides them rats. And it was like, we already knew about the rats, so do I really need to follow them trying to figure it out?
But they had that guy. What's the name? What's that actor's name? Boosie, the guy from Starship Troopers. What's it? The guy who was the newspaper owner, who was a douchebag to them. You know that guy, Gary Busey? Is that his name?
Gary
Gary
Busey.
Busey?
Is that what I'm talking about? He
Wait,
plays.
are you talking about his son?
No,
His son was Jake Busey.
Oh, he plays the newspaper owner in season 3. He was in Starship Troopers, and he's in like, I'll
Michael
look it up.
Ironside?
No. No, Michael, has he been in Stranger Things? No, right? That
No,
would be
I was
awesome.
just
That would be
I was asking,
awesome.
like, did I miss that?
No, he's what's his name? Jake Busey. Yeah, Jake Busey. Is that how you pronounce it?
Told you that was his
Busey?
son.
Yes, you're right. So he plays the newspaper owner in the storyline with Jonathan and Nancy, and I thought he was great, man. He dies though, but yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So I don't even gotta tell you guys what my overall grade is. I'm biased as hell, but you know what?
Do it.
That's just how it's gonna be. And I gushed enough in the intro how much I love this show. I mean, it just speaks to me. The score, the soundtrack, like I love how Jonathan and Will were bonding over the Clash. You know, the should I stay or should I go now? And like that became like a part of that opening mystery, was like hearing the song through the, you know, through the upside down or the radio, whatever it was. And you know, obviously the never ending story reference. I mean, there's just so many fun moments for me. All of a sudden you guys are talking about my shirts. All right, so I actually crunched the numbers pretty early. So while I finalize I'm gonna pull up the scores. I'm gonna pull up the final score here, and I'm gonna tally it up. I am actually surprised how this went. Like I said, like you guys don't know until it's done, and I'm looking at the numbers now, and I'm like, wow, that got really tight, really close. And it's kind of interesting. We know where our allegiances lie, but it's a lot closer than you guys think. But while I finalize the winner here, I'm gonna throw it to Gabe because you got to go soon. But what are you expecting from season 4? Is there anything that you hope that they do differently in terms of like bringing something new to the table? And just from what you've seen, because I've avoided the trailers, but I mean, like, how excited are you for it?
Oh, I'm super excited. It's been a long wait. It's been like 3 years, I think. It was an absurd wait. The kids look like their age, which is like 21 years old now, which is kind of funny. Like, especially, I don't know if you saw like the images from the premiere, but you see like Millie Bobby Brown. She's just like, she's 18 or 19, I think, so she's a bit younger than the other kids, but like she just looks like an adult now.
Yeah.
Right. And like, you know, like everybody just looks way older, but it doesn't really matter. Like, you know, in the 80s, it was very 80s to have like people over 27 playing teenagers. You know, like you watch,
that was
like
the thing.
That was a thing. Like people would do that. Like you know, like Michael J. Fox, who looks way older than high school age, and Back to the Future. You know what I mean?
Or like the entire Scream cast, like they do not look like they're in high school.
Exactly. Like they used to do that more back then. Now they're a bit more accurate. So I mean, I'm really excited for it. Like I said, I love like the vibe that I got from the trailer was kind of like a haunted house kind of vibe, and we have the Russia element, which sort of be interesting. They have expanded like beyond Hawkins, and I think that's okay. But I also don't want to like. I'm glad they just said season 6 is the last one, because I just don't think. I don't want them to like wear it down, and like once you know what the end is, I think you can enjoy more. Like, okay, this is like the meal before dessert. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I know what comes next. So
I was gonna
that's
say,
great.
I feel like that's one of the reasons why I fucking disappeared from The Walking Dead, and I was such an avid fan to start.
Yeah.
I haven't even watched the last 2 seasons. I couldn't tell you who's in it or what's in it. But that's a good point, man. What about you, Leo? I know you're about to start your early preview of Stranger Things, right?
Yeah, so Stranger Things 4, I've only seen the trailer and the first 8 minutes of the season. So far, I feel as if this is going to be a lot more mature. I think that this is going to really progress all of the elements that we talked about, horror, sci-fi, 80s references, and really bring them into a stronger story. I think that this season, in my opinion, looks like it's going to have the strongest story out of all 4 seasons, and things are just like the characters, everything's going to get a lot darker and edgier. So I'm really looking forward to season 4 because I feel like we're going to dial that horror up. We're going to get more into the mystery. We're going to dive into bigger things with these characters. So I'm really looking forward to season 4. Like Gabe was saying, 3 years, man. The last season came out in 2019. Rough with COVID and the delays and things like that. And it's like, man, this is like, it's kind of like what happened with WandaVision, where we didn't have the MCU for a whole year. It's like, okay, we haven't had Stranger Things for 3 years. 3 years. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to potentially either be the best season or the second best. Because for me personally, 1 is the best season, but I think it's going to potentially even blow that out of the water. I think we're going to be looking at something where the production value, the score, everything has just stepped and leveled up. I think that this is going to be potentially its best season.
Hell yeah, man. And Gabe, I know you got to go soon. So do you want to do your where can people find you? What you got going on with FilmOpinionitis and Cinespection right now?
So FilmOpinionitis has been pretty absent over the last few months. Just been busy with other things. So hopefully I'll pick that up soon. Cinespection has been pretty active. We reviewed this week? We reviewed, God, what did we review? Roundhouse, which is a movie and
Roadhouse?
Roadhouse, no Roundhouse. That's the kick.
Yes,
You know,
oh my God. Roadhouse.
I did the same thing in the stream. Like, and John was also like, "What the hell?" Roadhouse. Okay, if they do like Stranger Things, like Roadhouse, Stranger Things kind of thing in one season, that's gonna be awesome. It's an 80s movie that I had not seen and that I really, really loved. And then recently we also watched a couple of John Woo movies, one of which I had never seen, recommended by you, Lo, Hard Boiled, which was great. So go check that out because it was awesome.
Double guns, baby.
Hard Boiled is so good, baby.
All right, man. What about you, Leo? What you got new with Geekly Goods, man?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. It's been a pleasure chatting with y'all. Cobra Kai, Stranger Things, 2 fucking awesome guys, man. Yo, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. So coming up on the channel, you guys can come on over to youtube.com/geeklygoods. Find your boy with the 2 G's in the logo. Come on over. We got a lot coming up. So Cobra Kai, oh my gosh. Stranger Things Season 4, reactions across the board. We'll be having those next week. I will have a review for Men coming up. I saw it a little earlier this week, but fell under the weather. So we'll have a review for Men coming up and a review for the Bob's Burgers movie, which was actually funnier than I thought. And a lot more coming up on the channel, guys. So go ahead and follow me over at Geekly Goods on YouTube and then at Leo Rydell GG across all social media platforms. We'll have some TikToks coming up too. So follow me on there.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. I always love your content, man. It's always an honor to have you on the channel, Leo. It's good to see you. I feel like we haven't had you on for a while, man. So
man, I appreciate it, dude. This is like the perfect stream to bring me on. So when you brought up the idea, I was like, hell yes. Oh
all
my
right,
God.
Look, you guys can see the numbers here.
Look at this.
This is crazy close, y'all. And like aggregate score, you could tell like Leo, 87% versus 85%. You didn't like Cobra Kai that much more. That's just the way the grades broke down. Even with you, Gabe, you gave it an overall 92% like aggregate score versus 90 for Stranger Things. But ultimately, all that being said, after we take a quick look at the numbers,
Damn it. Okay, hold on. I gotta say something. I got to
Go
real
ahead.
quick. Sorry, Gabe. I know you gotta get going. I just really quick gotta say that visual category screwed Cobra Kai over.
No, for real.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh man.
I mean, they're both great
Huzzah!
shows. Yeah, good. I mean, good. I mean, honestly, they're both great shows.
Yeah.
Like, who wins? We win because we get to watch these awesome
Hell
shows.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, there's no right or wrong way to go about this. I mean, they're both wonderful shows, and me and Dibs had the same feelings with Clone Wars and Rebels. It like hurt us to like pick one or the other. At least for me, it did. But if I had to choose, I am Team Clone Wars. But Dibs he's gonna go streaking. He's going to the quad, y'all. He is so happy Stranger Things won. But yeah, that about wraps it up, guys. So again, thank you guys for joining me. This was a super fun discussion. We got into a lot of great things. We really broke down why these shows are so great. Anybody watching, please like and subscribe down below. Follow us at the Suit Up Geeks on Twitter and Instagram. We don't have much on the slate right now. We are cooking up some things. We're definitely gonna do Obi-Wan Kenobi reviews very shortly. That's also premiering next week. We might do some Tom Cruise stuff next week. That's in the pipeline in my head. And what else? We're probably gonna do Stranger Things reviews as well. So just keep an eye out for that. With that being said, if you guys haven't finished either of these shows, go on Netflix and watch Cobra Kai and Stranger Things. They're wonderful, and they got all the 80s nostalgia you could love, and just wonderful, wonderful characters with up-and-coming young actors that just round out such fantastic casts with, amazing actors like, Daniel, Ralph Macchio, and, Winona Ryder, like heroes from our younger days that are still shining. So with all that being said, thank you guys again, Gabe, Leo, for joining me. I'm gonna let you enjoy Men. Alex Garland's an amazing filmmaker, man. He's a hell of a filmmaker. We got to talk about it when you get out of there, man.
Yeah, hit man. Let's make a little Twitter thread. Let's talk about that, man.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about it. Yeah, let's get on another stream. But for Leo down there, please follow him at Geekly Goods. He's one of my favorite creators to watch. About our boy Gabe, he has Cinespection with his homie John. Again, I'm 1/4 of the Suit Up Geeks. Hopefully we'll all get together next week. Until next time, y'all, thank you guys for watching. Let me find the outro video. We'll catch you guys next time.